The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your entry with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up today with promo code NBA SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by the Mega Memorial Merch Sale, 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store with promo code SGPN May. That is store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Yes, sir. We're back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really raw, a villain raw. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. And ladies and gentlemen, Alyssa Thomas does it again. What is this? Is that a foul? Oh yeah, that's a foul. That looks like a foul. But we have a very, very close game going on here in Indiana. The Connecticut Sun are currently playing the Indiana Fever. It is 84 all in the final 30 seconds of the game. Something happened, but I was reading the ad read, so I didn't see what happened, so I don't know what happened. But just know Alyssa Thomas has 22-9. Well, 22, 12, and 9 right now. 22 and 12 and 9, just letting you know. And we have a 12-1 MVP ticket on her. And she's averaging near a triple-double already for the season. Scott Studio, Reichel, people. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Can't complain. Fun game going on right now. I know the weekend games were not exactly great for me on that Saturday episode. Unfortunately, Tina Charles got into foul trouble immediately, so all of her props died. Angel Reese got there for rebounds. I'd missed out on the double-double barely. I think it was plus 420 or so, and she finished one rebound short, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, she's going to cash us some double-double props in the near future. Besides that, though, the Aces no-showed the first quarter against the Sparks, and I came up just a bit short on the team total. Not a great Saturday, though, but overall still a good start to the season for us. Let's keep it rolling here on Tuesday.
And shout out to the guy on Twitter that he took a couple of plays on the last episode and they didn't hit. And he said that we just lost a listener. I bet you he's probably still listening right now because he realizes that we still hit way more than we lose. And another lot.
I don't think he knows that. So to be honest, I don't know if he's back or not. I don't really care.
I think he's still here, man. I think he's still listening. There's no he wanted when you are listening to WNBA content, you sought that out. And he went and sought us out. And so he knows what's up. He was frustrated, but he's going to be back and he's going to be listening because he's going to see we're going to hit something big again. The lot goes for me from last episode. Phoenix Mercury, get it done. It was a great game between Atlanta Dream, by the way. Very good game. But Phoenix Mercury do get it done, and they cover the spread there. The line moved on me, and I still got the cover. I had the worst of the line, and I still got the cover there. So shout out to that. And then I took the wrong prop. I took this guy in the first half. I should have just took him on money line. I mean, I did end up taking him on money line, but I should have made it my dog. So I didn't get the dog, but a lot goes. We hit a whole bunch of bets. This is a great start of the season, very, very good start of the season, and I'm having a whole bunch of fun with it. So here we go. We have Drip in the chat asking us for NBA content. This is the WNBA show. You should definitely go check out what me and Munaf put out earlier today on the NBA podcast. After this show, though, after this, you should listen for the rest of the show and then tap into the NBA Gambling podcast as well. Shout out to Trevor in the chat too. All right. Before we get to the games that are going to be played tomorrow on the slate, I got to talk to you about the biggest week in racing, the Indy 500. Is that the biggest week in racing? Really? Is it not the Daytona? It's the Indy? Really?
Well, the point is it's Indy mixed in with some other races going on. People kind of view the Indy 500 as being like the biggest race event, I guess, internationally.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, and if I listen to the NASCAR gambling podcast more, I would know that. That's why I am now locked into the NASCAR gambling podcast. They give me everything I need. And whenever I do tap in with those guys, it's always winners. Like they're so locked into their very niche sport in NASCAR. So Coke 600 this weekend, Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500. Like this is a big week in racing. So NASCAR and F1 gambling podcast have you covered. Make sure you join their Kyle Larson die cast car giveaway. That's free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race to register and make sure you subscribe to the NASCAR and F1 gambling podcast. Plus, we're running that mega merch sale for Memorial Day, 15% off everything in the merch store. Promo code SGPN May. Make sure you go in there. You get some NASCAR gambling podcast gear. Man, go ahead and tap in and get some NASCAR gear after they win you a bunch of cash. So store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. SGPN May is that promo code for 15% off everything in our merch store. All right, we are here for another 3 games in the WNBA. First game up on the docket we have is a doozy. The Dallas Wings on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream in a rematch of last year's playoff series. The Dallas Wings did get the win and ended up moving on to the Western Conference semis. Atlanta's laying 4 here at home. Opened up at 4.5. Now it's at 4.5. I'm sorry, it opened up at 4. Now it's at 4.5. 166 is the total. This is the home opener for the Atlanta Dream. There's going to be no Natasha Howard in this game because of injury.
She's going to be out for a while, right?
Yeah, that broken foot. She's going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. So just a reminder for, the new folks in the crowd. Did the Sun just get the win? Is that what just happened? Yeah. Yeah, they're at the foul line. Okay, so they can clinch it. All right, but back here we have the Atlanta Dream and the Dallas Wings. We have no Natasha Howard, like I said. We have no Satu Sabali. We have no Jalen Brown, the rookie draft pick. Undrafted. She's actually has a nose injury, so she's going to be out for a while. Jordan Canada is still out with a hand injury for the Atlanta Dream. So we're back at home in Atlanta. This is a great atmosphere, by the way. The Atlanta Dream. I can't wait to go to I just watch it on TV. It looks super fun. I can't wait to go to my first Atlanta Dream game. Gonna make that happen in the next couple of months or so. Well, definitely this season. I'm definitely hitting a Dream game this season. But rematch of the playoffs last year. Dallas did get the last laugh in the playoffs. This feels like revenge for Atlanta. This feels like no defense being played. This feels like the Atlanta Dream just taking advantage of injuries on the Dallas side of the ball. No Satu Sabli this time around. No Natasha Howard this time around. They still have some size there with Tierra McGowan, Kalani Brown. What's the other backup big name again? I forget her name. Soares. Yeah, Soares. So you also have Stephanie Soares, who's 6'6". So you got 2 6'7" giants and a 6'6" to add to it. Mo Billings, they just signed. She's 6'4". She's also gonna have some revenge on the mind. She played with Atlanta last season. So I'm still rolling with Atlanta here. I think it's just gonna be too. I think the Dream had too much. And they're still really sound offensively. Both of these two teams aren't going to play any defense. I'm not really worried about that. But they got Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard on one side. And I still think Ryan Howard has a case to be made for probably most improved this year, even though she's been really good. It just looks different this year. So she went 5 for 9 in that from 3 in that last game from the Atlanta Dream. And that was really the big thing because she stepped up and be more consistent with that shot. And she is. So I'm rolling with the Atlanta Dream. I kind of like how the Dream are playing here. They're at home opener, revenge on the mind against Dallas. I'm taking Atlanta Dream to go ahead and get this done. I'll lay the 4.5.
Yeah, I agree. Initially, I was going to consider taking the Wings, but they're just missing too much. And they really didn't look good against Chicago. Now, I know going into the actual season, we were both higher on Chicago than the odds makers were. But the point is, Dallas arguably should be 0-2. They didn't look good in those games. They had a good closing quarter in the first game. Then they were awful in the second half against Chicago. So if Chicago, even if we were higher on them, still supposed to be a bottom tier team, and they had a hard time winning either of those games, and now you're facing off against Atlanta, I'm not going to overreact to Atlanta's loss against Phoenix. Yes, Tina Charles screwed me because she got into foul trouble quickly, but Atlanta showed a lot of toughness. They hung in there. They were getting buried early in that game, then rallied to come back and ended up losing eventually. Phoenix, though, for years has been very good at home, and they're very bad on the road. So I think that Atlanta should not exactly be ashamed of the way that they lost that Phoenix game. It was competitive. They were on the wrong side. It happens. We know Atlanta at home tends to be better, but you're looking at the overall firepower for Atlanta. They're healthier. Arike, who I know I gave out as a long shot to win MVP, and you ended up taking her to lead the league in points. She had 35 points last game on 9 of 28 shooting, so the efficiency has not been there for Arike, which is a big issue. The point is, though, they really don't have many other options because one of your favorite young players, Jaylen Brown, also missed last game because she got injured. So the whole team's injured for Dallas at this point. So I think I have to go with the dream here at home. I think they'll bounce back. Hopefully Charles is not in foul trouble, and I think she'll be able to have a good game here. But with all the injuries that the Wings have and the revenge possibility for Atlanta, I think it's a good spot for the home team here. I'll take Atlanta minus 4.5.
I mean, this screen, like, we've already missed this total opened up at 161.5 and it's at 166. Like, we've already missed the line, but I'm telling you, I think it's going over.
I'm not taking the under with these teams.
Yeah. I think both teams easily walk into 80. Like, they both easily walk into 80. Matter of fact, well, they don't have it up yet, but they have those both teams to score 80, both teams to score 90.
On DraftKings,
I would definitely get down on some of those bets in this game. Like, if we looked at the end of the game and you said that the bigs for Dallas help offset a bunch of the scoring, getting easy looks down low. Arike had a really good game. Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray had a really big game. Like, I could see both of these two teams in 90 plus points for this game. So 100%, I'm taking the over here. There's nothing to doubt there. I don't have player props anywhere. I don't have anything on underdog. So I do have an offshore. Well, it's not an offshore, but it's a competitor. They have a couple of things out there. They put Ryan Howard at 20.5, Scott. I've been calling for it. I've been saying, hey, we're just going to keep hammering Ryan Howard until they adjust their line. And they finally did adjust. I see 20.5 for Ryan Howard. If you see anything under 20.5, hammer it. I still think that she's good for 20.5. I think Ryan Howard's playing absolutely lights out this season, and she looks really, really good. And I'm going to have her keep it going and have another good play here today. Hassan said Alicia Gray points over. I'm not mad at that either. You can't. It's really
I have
not
lines, by the way,
points.
but no alts. So I don't have any alt options. Gray points is 16.5.
Yeah. Arike's at 24.5, and I mean, she may not be the most efficient, but she's going to get all the attempts and opportunity in the world.
She's a chucker. I mean, that's why I liked her to have good stats while Satu was out. Now Natasha's out. She might attempt 30 shots. So if that's the case, you kind of have to consider the over automatically.
No, for real. I mean, it's just you can walk into that. Like, you can actually walk into that. I'm not taking any chances. So I have Arike over.
Imagine taking an NBA player in like the playoffs, and I told you that they were going to make 9 shots in the entire game, and they were still going to end up with 35 points. Like, that's where we're at. She went 9 of 28. Like, I think you kind of have to take her points.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here before we get to the next game on the slate. Got to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Easiest place to play fantasy sports. You can play their fantasy pick'em, and it's super simple. It's as easy as selecting higher or lower on your favorite players.
Your mic just cut out, I think. Maybe. I don't have the ad read in front of me. Okay, you're back. Welcome back.
You're good. You was about to take over. Okay, in the clutch.
I did the MLB one. I mean, I've done it before.
Yeah, way to come in the clutch, ready to go, man. Nah, I did. I just hit the mic a little wrong. It's crazy, but yeah. So I don't know. I was talking about Underdog and how everybody should tap into Underdog if you're not already, but you should definitely lock in. They're available in 30 plus states, California, Texas, even Canada, and even Florida. In there, you can play their Champions player versus player format in Florida. So sign up NBA SGPN and claim that special pick first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code NBA SGPN. All right, next game on the slate, we have the Washington Mystics on the road, not on a charter flight, I should add. They are not flying charter to this. They did not fly charter to this game. So commercial across the country for the Washington Mystics over to the Los Angeles Sparks. The Sparks are laying 4 here. 158.5 is the total. It's climbed up to 159 in some shops, Scott. Injury report for these two teams, and that's going to be the thing to watch out for the Washington Mystics, because you have Shakira Austin, who was a game time decision. Brittany Sykes is out with that ankle sprain. Azare Stevens is still out for the Los Angeles Sparks, and Ray Burrell is a game time decision as well. Scott, I don't think we're at the part of the season where I will not blatantly lay points with the team. I know that we said that, we think, this Mystics team is going to be bad. This LA team is going to be bad. And they both don't have wins yet. I actually think they're the both sole winless teams in the league.
Indiana's over.
Oh, yeah, Indiana's over as well. But they're all competitive.
Like, when was the last time Caitlin Clark lost 3 games in a row? I don't know. 4 games in a row if you include college.
Is it even? Yeah, I was about to say, is it even ever? Like, is that ever happened for her in college? The Mystics and the Sparks have been super competitive. The Sparks took the defending champions down to the wire. The Mystics took the Liberty to the wire. They were competitive in that Storm game, and what was the other game? I feel like that they were competitive in too. It's escaping me right now, but neither one of these two teams have gone away.
They're not total bottom feeders. They're not like the Mercury for the last month and a half of last season. They're not that
Actually, if we want to go ahead and put a number to it, the Washington Mystics are 2-1 against the spread.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I mean, so it's been about there. And that team that I was talking about was Connecticut, that they were competitive with. All right.
I do want to segue on what you just said, though, because I know we were definitely lower on the Sparks than the Mystics when the season started. I lost money on the Aces over the weekend. I even live bet the minus 15.5. That didn't get there. Honestly, it was like halftime, and they had the great second quarter.
Yeah,
like, all right, like, I think the Aces figured it out. They did not. They did not figure it out. And the Sparks were competitive. Are the Sparks, I don't want to say nice, but are they, like, not potentially the worst team or not the second worst team? Like, where are you
is it?
They're not bad.
So before the night started, I would just go ahead and say that Indiana was the worst team by far.
Yeah.
Indiana hadn't even been close in any of the games they played. Granted, they had played, the Liberty twice and Connecticut once. This showing with Kelsey Mitchell and Kelsey Mitchell being like free shows me that Indiana's a better team. I have no idea who is the bottom feeder between Indiana, Washington, and LA. I truly don't.
Right now, it would be the Mystics because of injuries, but assuming health, you can make an argument for some options. With Sykes being out, I think Washington probably is the basement because Sykes is really good.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I don't know if I can take this team without Sykes and potentially Shakira Austin. I just don't know if I can bet Washington.
And they weren't very talented to begin with. So,
and now they're really trying. Like, that's the two veterans from last year. Like, now you're just rolling with Ariel Clark and just hoping, not Ariel Clark, but Ariel Atkins. I keep saying, why do I keep adding Clark to the end of this stuff? But yes, Ariel Atkins is, going to be trying to do everything. And I just don't think that's enough. And they're still trying to figure it out. This is a new team, new lineup, new players. Like, LA's at home. Hopefully this isn't.
Isn't Hamby going to kill this team if Austin doesn't play? Who's going to guard Hamby? Hamby gave Asia and the entire Aces team the business on Saturday. I don't think anyone can guard her on Washington.
And, like, we had the conversation of who's going to be the leading scorer. Well, right now, De'Arica Hambry is clear cut, far and away going to be the leading scorer. And she looks really good. Like, she looks really, really good. So, yeah, I'm taking the Sparks. Laying 4.
I think I have
actually somewhat feel good about that.
I was right about Brink and her early WNBA career because I thought even though she was a top draft pick that the offense would not translate immediately, and I thought that she would take some time to figure herself out offensively. She was really bad offensively against the Aces. I believe she had 2 points. She had a big and one late. I don't remember if she made the free throw or not, but the point is she really didn't do anything offensively. Rim
Mhm.
protection wise, though, very solid defender. I think she actually can be a solid defensive anchor for this team in the future, and the offense might
Asia
grow into it.
was struggling. Asia was struggling between her and Hambry. I think it was at one point they said Asia was like some 2 for 10 or something like that. Like she was struggling against them for a good like that whole first half. She was really struggling against them. So
Yeah, and she forced a jump ball in the fourth quarter, which was clearly a foul, but they called it a jump ball, so I'm going to call it a jump ball. And that was a pretty big possession there. But the point is, I do think the Sparks actually have some pieces that I've actually kind of liked. The backcourt looks pretty comfortable. Hamby's been great. Brink, I know offensively is extremely raw, but defensively she's solid. I think that that's a solid tandem with her and Hamby, and I think you're looking at a spot where the Sparks can definitely eat on the inside if you're looking at Austin being out, because I don't think that the Mystics have that much depth in that area. So I think you're looking at the Sparks being the healthier team. Both teams, you could argue, have looked pretty similar because they haven't been winning games, they've been competitive. But I'll go with LA. LA hung in there against the Dream, ended up losing. That game kind of got away from them late. Hung in there against the defending champions in Vegas, which was a very good showing there. I think the Sparks have value here. I'll link to the Sparks -4.5.
total is sitting at 159.
I like the under.
Um,
Can the Mystics score if
I
Sykes isn't going to play? Like, who do they have? Atkins is going to have to carry the entire team offensively? Like, what options do they have?
yeah, but I just don't think I. Hmm.
I don't know.
Let's
Because the
see.
Sparks defensively at the
Just
end.
give me a Washington team total under. I don't know what that number
Okay.
is yet, but just give me a Washington team total under. I don't want to take the chance with the LA catching fire and scoring 90. They scored 82 and 81 in the first 2 games, and they haven't looked inept,
Yeah.
defensively at all. They just play better teams. Like I don't think this is a situation where they are playing a better team. And so uh yeah, give me Washington team total under for my total play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say the Sparks defensively might have given up a lot of points to the Aces in the end, but the
Mhm.
Aces we know play fast. They kind of force the overall pace in this game. Washington will not do that. But the Sparks, I thought defensively, actually had some nice moments in that game.
All right. Player props, Hambry, of
I have
course.
nobody listed, but I like Hamby, obviously.
Yeah, I don't have anybody listed either, but yeah, and well, I see Cameron Brink. Hambry's at 18 and a half. That's crazy. Take the over. Uh,
I might not mind Brink under. Just watching her play,
10 and
she
a half.
really is not that great offensively.
10 and a half. I don't think I'm taking it this game. I think last
Okay,
game, the fact that she had a defensive player of the year as her primary, um,
that's
and
fair.
Kia Stokes, and then add Kia Stokes, I think that had something to do with it. I'm gonna reserve the right, but Hamby for sure.
I
I
am
really don't
wondering
have a
about Hassan's point. I was asking who potentially would step up or take over the job with Austin being out. You mentioned Edwards. If Edwards has props, I might be interested, kinda. They don't have any front court depth if Austin doesn't play. Edwards might have to play a bunch of minutes.
yeah. Still giving up a bunch of size to him,
Correct. But the point is somebody's gonna have to play a bunch of minutes as the de facto power forward
The
center.
rebounds was really good in that game against the Storm. I believe she had 11 to close the
Yeah.
game. I think she had 9 and 11 9 and 11 in that game. So possibly just got to stay out of foul trouble there too. All right. Before we get to the last game of the slate, got to talk to you about rhythm. And Rhythm's WNBA features make it easier than ever to use the data to bet on all the action this season, custom betting models in seconds, and AI back bet recommendations for every game. You can absolutely totally have fun with Rhythm and just use their data back plays. So let's see here what Rhythm is spitting out for the games tomorrow. Where's my app? I gotta start organizing my phone better. There we go.
That sounds
All
like
right,
effort, so I'm not gonna tell you should do that. Sounds
I'm
tiring.
waiting. Let's see. Can I get a refresh for the games tomorrow, or are we not there yet because it's too early? Looks like we might not be there yet for the games. Oh, no, no. All right. But we're definitely going to have those AI back rhythm picks. We're going to have those. They're here all season. They're actually a sponsor. So everybody knows they're a sponsor all season. So we're going to be with Rhythm, giving you a whole bunch of plays backed by their team of data scientists that constantly working on the back end to make sure that we're getting the most accurate predictions possible. So don't bet the W without Rhythm. Download Rhythm now and start a 7-day free trial of WNBA golf and more. Rhythm available wherever you get your apps. All right. Next game on the slate, last game on the slate, we had the Phoenix Mercury in a rematch going up against the Las Vegas Aces. In Vegas, yet again, laying 15 is the Aces, 171 is the total.
ESPN at
Aces,
16.5. So shop around. You might be able to find yourself a massive line differential.
Phoenix Mercury, don't look now, 2-0 ATS against the spread. Aces 0-2. So I think the big thing about this game is going to be adjustments, and it's Becky Hammond. What are the adjustments to the zone defense that the Mercury gave out, that threw out there in that first game? It was stifling. They had to shoot a lot of outside shots. They were making Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young and Alicia Clark. They were making all of them try to hit shots on the outside. Asia was doing whatever she wanted on inside. She dared them to make the shots on the outside. I don't know, man. Without Chelsea Gray, it's kind of tough, man. I mean, she said it. She thinks that they're going to be playing closer games. It's not going to be the big wins without Chelsea Gray anymore. They're going to be a little bit more competitive. And of course, Chelsea Gray was a MVP finalist. Give me the Mercury plus 15. I'm kind of sold on this Mercury team. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think I have to agree. The Aces, watching them over the weekend, they looked out of sorts, and it looked like they needed a point guard, and they don't have one. I mentioned before that I wasn't sure if Plum was going to be the de facto point guard or if it was going to be Jackie. It's Jackie. I mean, she's the de facto point guard. I think she had a double-double in that last game. I don't think Plum looks good at all. And I think part of it is because without a true point guard, she seems to be forcing stuff. And I don't think that she is taking shots in the flow of the offense. Asia had an uncharacteristically inefficient game. I think she'll bounce back in that area. But I still don't think the Aces have really figured out the rotations yet. And it doesn't seem like they fully adjusted to life without their, in my opinion, second best player. So until they figure it out, I'm not laying 15.5. The Mercury are a good team. Like, I might have been wrong about them preseason, being a bit skeptical about Tarazi and, the underlying themes there. But the point is, I never doubted the talent on the roster. They're clearly a talented team, and they've looked pretty good so far. I don't understand how the Aces are laying about 19 against the Sparks. They aren't even close to covering at all at any portion in the game. And now they're only laying 15.5 against a good team, and they didn't cover this line the first meeting. I don't get this at all. I got to go with the Mercury here.
The total came in at 169 in that
What would you
first
put the
meeting.
spread at personally if you were pricing it? Like 11.5? Maybe
Maybe, yeah,
12?
yeah. It'd definitely be double digits. Like
I'm not,
probably,
because
yeah,
once again, we're not going
probably.
to disrespect and dismiss the Aces, but 15.5 is insane.
Yeah, I just think the market just hasn't adjusted to Chelsea Gray not playing on the team anymore. And granted, that's not saying anything about it. I still think the Aces have a better showing in this game than the first game, but it's just more to the tune of 10, 11 points. So,
Yep.
yeah. Uh, Give me the under 171. I don't know, man. I don't know that was like for that game to finish at 169. They had stretches where they were playing some really really solid defense. I'm just gonna bet on that to happen more. So give me the under 171 for this game.
I'll agree. I think the Mercury can do things defensively that can at least take the Aces out of their comfort zone at various points. Same thing with the Aces. Defensively, they were horrible against the Sparks.
Mhm.
I think they'll look a lot sharper. It seemed like Vegas kind of got to a decent spot to end the first half and decided midway through the third quarter, early fourth, oh, this game's over. And the Sparks just said not so fast, and the Aces kind of took their foot off the gas. I think that you're going to see Hammond get on our players a bit and to make sure that they're a bit more focused defensively. I think I'd agree with that. With the amount of easy points that Hamby got, with the overall penetration that the Sparks got
Mhm.
constantly into the paint, it was a really bad defensive game for the Aces. You could argue both games so far this season have not exactly been great defensive games for the Aces. I think Hammond's going to make sure that our team is coming to play defensively. I like the under.
What I will say is they need to just go ahead and leave the Aces alone before they antagonize them into a three-peat. Please, for the love of God, please leave them alone before you antagonize them into a three-peat. I just think that's crazy, bro. How can an outside company say, "Hey, I want to go give your players money," and then like you say, "Oh, wait, what's going on there?"
You can do
Like,
that? You can give your players money?
like
That's
what?
illegal.
Like they can get sponsorships. Like that's literally all it is. It's a sponsorship, and it just so happens that everybody on the team. But like, so say if one person got the sponsorship, is that getting an investigation? But because
No,
the
that's
entire
NIL.
team.
You lose a Heisman Trophy for that.
But and it's so funny
Which you
because
get
like
back about 20 years later. But
it's so funny because they was like, yo, like, of course now they know why all these people took these pay cuts for the Aces to play with the Aces is because they were giving them that money. And it's like, no, they took the pay cuts because the Aces actually have a good program going on. And because they have a good program going on, Vegas said that we're going to take all of you dumb fucks money that you put on Caitlin Clark for MVP and we're going to go give it to them. We're going
I
to
am
give
going to
it to
give
the
Mark Davis
Aces.
props, though, because the Raiders have been a mess for years, but he's done a really good job taking care of his WNBA players. He's done a
You
really
take
good
care
job.
of winners. You take care of winners, Scott. We take care of winners around here.
I'm just saying in general, though, it seems like WNBA, I know that the lack of profitability has been an issue around the league for a while, but Davis came in and just said, we're going to run a top tier program here, and it's worked
Yep.
out well. So props to Mark
You
Davis
got
and
the
the Aces.
coach. You got the coach. You got everything you need. You're good. You are great. You got your star player. Like now, you just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. This
Yep.
is gonna be it. This is a dynasty, man. And I just hope the Liberty take one. That's it. Just get one, and then the Aces can continue doing their dynasty things. All right. Play props. I see 10.5 for Sophie Cunningham, 10.5 for Natasha Cloud, 19.5 for Clea Copper, 18.5 for Kelsey Plum, 15.5 for Diane Taurasi, 22.5 for Asia Wilson. I'm gonna just go ahead and stop right there. Give me the Asia Wilson over 22.5. That's I actually think that's lower than where we got it the first time, Scott. I think it was
I
23
lost
and a
money
half.
on her over the weekend with 23.5. She was like 1 of 8 from the floor. I think she had
Yeah,
4 points or 5 points. I forgot what she had.
she
8
was
points
no
maybe
they
in the first half.
Hamby and Brink was on her ass in the first half, and then she
Yeah.
caught fire in the second half.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
yeah, I think she had 8 points in the first half with like 3 of 10 shooting or something. And then she caught fire. Did nothing in the fourth quarter. But she was really bad early, and then she still had a good game in the end. So I think Asia's going to bounce back.
Jackie's got 19.5 as well. Oh, we got some other stuff that's popped up over the time. Oh, well, not much.
I'll take the
And
assists
nothing
on
else in this
Jackie.
game.
Jackie had a bunch of assists in that game. I think she might be alive for potentially a double-double in this game.
Yeah. I was I'm trying to pull back up the box score here. Jackie Young had 22 and 11 double. Kelsey Plum had 17 and 5, 22 and 10 for Asia Wilson in that game. Yeah, pretty much in the last game. So yeah, I agree with you. And she's just been more comfortable. Like they needed a point guard. She's been more comfortable playing that point guard role as well. So definitely like Jackie Young assist as well. I'll be playing that.
And I've
All
called
right.
her out for it, but I am going to reiterate it. I'm still not the biggest Kelsey Plum fan because we've seen how she's looked without the main point guard, and it just feels like she's doing her own thing. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it feels like a lot of her offense is based on, well, I have to shoot this. This is going to be my opportunity, but she doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
pass the ball that much. You mentioned her assist last game. I don't believe she got there in that game. Do you think Kelsey Plum's a bit overrated? I'm not saying
Overrated?
she's a bad player. I'm saying
No.
based on reputation around the league.
No.
I think she's a little bit
No.
overrated.
No, I don't think she's overrated. I think she's exactly where she's at. She's a really good player. Like she's just a really like. I mean, she at the end of the day, she had a bad game and still had 17. Like 17 in the league is like really
I know, I
good.
get
So
it. She
like,
had 5 assists in that
like
too.
she's a person that any given night she can give you 20. And
Mhm.
yeah, like any given night she can give you 20. So I think
I think
she's
it goes back
I
to what we
still think
talked
she's a
about.
really good player.
I think it goes back to what we said during the offseason. I just feel like most people think that Plum was a former number 1 overall pick who had that points record in college is the second best player on the team. I disagree. I think she's third. I think Chelsea Gray is the second best player on the team. So I think that's kind of where the difference between myself, I know you agree with me about Gray and Plum. I think Gray's a better player than Plum. So I think your mic died out again. Yeah, Terrell, I can't hear you. So I don't know.
I don't think what I was saying is I don't think anybody has Kelsey Plum over Chelsea Gray at this point. I think that in
I think most
the
casuals
name
would.
factor, no, no, I don't actually. I actually wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think the only people that have Kelsey Plum higher than Chelsea Gray are the people that actually don't watch and the people that just know the names because she was a really big name. I mean, like
Mhm.
Caitlin Clark broke her record. Like she was a really big name in college basketball. So I really think that the casuals that actually be watching realize no. We all know that Chelsea Gray is better, but you'll have those sprinkle of the folks that don't actually pay attention and just look at names. And of course, they probably think Kelsey Plum is, and Darren Waller in the news. Like you don't hear about Chelsea
Yeah.
Gray as much. Like
People know a lot more about Asia Wilson than they do about Chelsea Gray, but I think Chelsea Gray is clearly the better player.
than Kelsey Plum, not Asia Wilson. You say Asia
Yeah,
Wilson.
correct. Asia's number 1 on the team.
But yeah,
Asia's
it's
probably the best player in the league.
we know the hierarchy on this show for
Yeah.
sure, and I think that
Asia's what, number
I
1 in
think
the league?
the general public understands as well. Even though Kelsey, again, I still think she's a really good player, but it's just Chelsea Gray, point guard, is just on another level. I'm sorry, and when
Yeah.
she comes back, she's gonna be on a vengeance. All right, let's close things out with Lock Dog, and I do have some lines for Underdog. I've already added one player in there, Scott. Uh, well, no, I lied. I've added two players. I might know where we're going with the third one because we don't have a lot of options. But here we go for my lock. I am going with.
You want player prop or a side or a total?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel good about Atlanta getting revenge, and I think I might be as simple as going with Atlanta to get revenge here. Then I have to figure out a dog. All right. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and lock up Atlanta. Atlanta in their home opener, laying 4.5, 2 possessions against the beat up Wings team, and the Dream lost to them in the playoffs last year. They knocked them out of playoffs. They have the narrative, they have the better players on the court. I think offensively, these two teams are going to be on fire. So, yeah, give me the Atlanta Dream laying 4.5 here for my lock to get it done. As for my dog, are any of these alts available? No. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is how do I want to do this? I need to think of something.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see many player prop options. So
Yeah, and that sucks. All right, so what I'll do is I will take an alt, but I'm just not gonna be able to place it now, and I'll just have to. I'll drop it in the Discord
I have
sg.pn/discord.
margins, by the way. If you want to go for like win margin 1 to 10 on some team.
Mm, nah, because the Aces already got their 1 to 10
Okay. I'm just throwing
on the
out ideas.
Mercury. I was almost tempted with the Aces 1 to 10, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, and I have no idea how that Sparks game is gonna go. So we are going to take. I'm going. I'm just gonna keep it going until she folds. I'm staying in the same game, Scott. Ryan Howard. Her points prop is at 20.5. I know her 25 plus is going to be like 2 to 1, 3 to 1 in that range, like maybe plus 250 for 25 plus. Give me Ryan Howard for 25 plus points today because she's just been really, really good. She's found a shot from the outside. I think that this Dallas team is going. I think the issue that they're going to have with Ryan Howard is the fact that she can hit anything in the mid range. So she kind of effectively makes their bigs useless because she can just shoot over them. She's a big guard. And so she has the ability to shoot over them. So I think it's a lot of mid range shots for Ryan Howard. She just gets comfortable and constantly gets to her spot. So give me Ryan Howard 25 plus points. Don't have a line on it now, but I will post a price later.
Okay. So for my lock on the show, I did agree with you about the Dream, but I think I might look for that as an alt line. I am going to go with the Reichel over 24.5 points as my lock at around minus 115, give or take. I just think at the end of the day, the volume is going to be too much to ignore. Going through her 2 games this season, she had 25 points in the first game on 10 of 23 shooting. And the second game, she had 35 points on 9 of 28 shooting because she had 11 free throws. And she made all of them. So I think the volume is important to mention. The Dream this season have not been great defensively. Gave up 81 to the Sparks, gave up 88 to the Mercury. I do think that the Wings can score. And looking at the minutes, Arike has played every minute except for 2 in the first 2 games combined. So she's on the court all the time. She gets most of the shots. The Wings last game scored 74 points. And Arike had 35 of those 74 points. So give me the over 24.5. She's going to keep chucking it. That's good enough for me. So give me Arike to go over as my lock. For my dog, I am pretty limited because I really wanted to go with a player prop alt line, but I just don't have that. Unless I take Arike 3s at 115, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I think I'm going to go with a margin play. And actually, no one. No, I'll go with the 2-pick parlay. Give me the Dream money line parlayed with the Sparks money line, and that's around plus 140.
Okay. All right. I'll accept it. We accept that. There we go.
I'm limited, so I'm doing the best I can.
Underdog lineup. Again, very limited on plays. I have Ryan Howard higher, 20.5 points. I have Asia Wilson higher, 22.5 points. No assists, no nothing.
You want to go Arike with that, just based on volume?
Yeah, we can. Arike 24.5 higher. So Arike higher 24.5 points, Asia Wilson higher 22.5 points, and Ryan Howard higher 20.5 points. Add that in underdog, and that's gonna pay 6 to 1 odds. $100 get you $600. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Scott, anything else for the people before we get out of here?
Not really. I saw the Yankees completely blew a 3-4 run lead. So that's not a fun time, but can't really complain. Fun doing the night shows with WNBA. This is the drawback, though. Occasionally, we're not going to have player prop lines, so we're going to have to make do. But looking forward to the games tomorrow. Should be fun.
All right. And for the number of people that are watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, comment, all of that. Subscribe before you go out of here. Everybody on Twitter, make sure you head to YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. And wherever you get your podcast, make sure you're giving us a 5-star rating and review. Other than that, we will be back later on this week. What's tomorrow night not tomorrow night, Wednesday night for the Thursday games. We will be back Wednesday night for the Thursday games. All right. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna do like this. We are out of here.